the Phoenix Convention Center.
Okay.
So we're doing that there because we want to have a national presence, and that is probably, hopefully, going to be in the form of a Brewers Association craft brewers conference. So, our organization is just sort of geared towards celebrating Arizona and the culture here. So it's open to everyone. If you look at our festivals, we include breweries from out of state, and also, obviously, we celebrate Arizona breweries.
Yeah.
But we're here to represent the culture of Arizona. And for us to be able to attract a marquee conference and really show policymakers, people who aren't in beer, that we're serious about growing Arizona and being the voice of Arizona. Oh my gosh. If you look at our logo, it says Arizona. It doesn't say Arizona Beer. It says Arizona because we believe in Arizona. Outside of a sports team, can you name an industry that you want to represent Arizona? It's us.
Yeah.
I hope it's us.
I think it is. Right. That's a pretty good segue. So I'm with Rob and Paul from the Craft Brewers Guild.
Did we just do the classic cold opening?
That was it. Yeah, that was it.
Man.
We were just testing some things out, and Rob just ran with it. And
that was
he
impressive.
nailed it. Yeah.
Rob is a seasoned operator. So that's very impressive.
He is. No, he did bring a 6-pack here over here.
Oh,
for
yeah,
us,
yeah. We can crack that open. While I'm doing that, I just we finally grown to the point where I can afford someone like Paul. So maybe while I'm dispensing beers, you can ask Paul what his thoughts are on what we've got going on. He's a new employee, but I look forward to hearing his refreshing opinions as I'm handing out refreshing beverages.
Nice. It's a lot of pressure, Paul. This
Very
is
refreshing.
yeah.
Oh, it's a ton of pressure. Well, it's been a couple of months I've been here so far, and we've got a lot going on. I'm very happy to finally work for a good company that represents the local community out here, and to do everything we can to grow the market, grow everything, and make sure that Arizona comes out on top and go on from there.
Yeah.
We've got a lot in the works. We've got a lot of new projects going on, and now that we've got a bigger team, Rob has got me to help him out, and we can get more done. So I think we're gonna have a good year.
Nice. And I caught you guys on one of the busiest weeks probably of the year for you, right?
Yeah, a lot of people think strong beer and Arizona Beer Week is tough, and believe me, it is something that demands our attention. But we've got those 3 events that I talked about: the retailers tasting, the Brewers Conference, and Real Wild and Woody. We're sort of building a beer week, and it's for us. I talked to a lot of my comrades in other states, and they say, "Why are you doing this, marquee conference with people from in the state and out of state?" We have Doug Odell as our featured speaker. Why are you doing this in summer? I'm like, well, because we live here. Right. We live here, and also it's a little cheaper to do. But what people need to understand is we've been involved in lobbying for more liberal beer laws, and I would say that we stand tall amongst our western states. In the east, if you go to the east or the southeast, you're going to see some quirky things that don't make sense, and there are things that we'd like to fix here, but none of that happens without supporting our events and the funds that go towards some of the best events, I would say, in the country. Our Real Wild and Woody Festival and our Strong Beer Festival, I would put up against a lot of different festivals. The proceeds go towards marketing Arizona breweries and featuring Arizona breweries, and also making very liberal, consumer-friendly laws. I use the L word, but come on, when it comes to beer, we want as liberal as possible, right?
Yes.
Very true.
Yeah. So what do you mean by that? Like, what are some of the things that, like, you guys are? Because I know you're a big part of something huge out here a few years ago.
Yeah. So I think I'm sure you're referencing SB 1030.
Yeah.
It put our brewery growth laws in line with California and Colorado. I mean, and that should stand on its own.
Yeah.
It allowed us to have blue skies when it comes to investing. in breweries, there's no artificial cap. Can you imagine? I don't know. Think about what you do in life. If there was a law that said, well, you can do this, but if you need to do more than that, come back and see us at the State House, and maybe we'll throw you a bone and you can do 25% more, or maybe not. So that's always at risk. I think. If you look at Texas, for example, who's going through this, they've got some crazy law where if you're a certain size, you have to have your beer distributed through a distributor, and even if it's going in your own location. So they're literally taxing breweries that have of a certain size to pretend to send it to a distributor and also just distribute it. And I don't want to get on our distributors. We've had some great relationships with our distributors, but that's how crazy it can be, and so. We have to always be in touch with our distributing partners, our other people in the industry. I mean, that stuff costs money, and it's resources, and we have great relationships right now. And so SB 1030, getting back on track, says that you can invest in a brewery and you have great opportunities. Don't invest in a Colorado brewery. Don't invest in a California brewery. If you live here, how about doing it here? In Texas, they objected because that put a limit on what their future was. So if you can imagine, like, hey, in Texas, if you go to this size, your transaction costs go through the roof once you hit that size. That's a bad message for investing, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
That's a horrible message. So
investors want the growth as much as possible.
Right. They don't want to see any roadblocks. And I mean, if that doesn't say bureaucratic and unnecessary and there's some vested interest, I don't know what does. So I don't know what the future is tomorrow or the next day, but we've got some great relationships. We've got some great things going on, and I hope to continue that. So that was the thrust of it, but I'll tell you what the huge ground game was with Arizona breweries is the ability to collaborate. Before I started, we had a brewery collaboration across all Arizona breweries called Heroes 19. It was to support the Yarnell 19, and Arizona breweries got together. I actually was fortunate to help with that project in terms of coordinating. People said, hey, I want to donate hops, I want to donate malt, and I was able to put it in a spreadsheet and communicate with the other breweries and say, hey, this is what you've got. And they put that together, and the smallest breweries couldn't distribute that beer because they didn't have the licensing for it.
So they contributed,
we've got a great beer. We want it to obviously shine in all parts of the state, and breweries that made significant contributions couldn't sell it in their own tap rooms. So we changed the law so that we could do collaborations. And I will tell you that the law changed, and we did more collaborations that first year than we did in the entirety of 30 years of craft brewing.
Really?
Wow. And it's for new breweries who might not even understand that's what's happened. They don't have a problem just calling a brewery across the street or across the state and say, hey, I want to do a collaboration beer, and it's second nature. Like, of course I'm going to serve it at my own brew house.
Yeah.
I don't care if we brewed it at your place. They have that ability, and I think that strengthens our breweries so much, builds relationships so much. And when we need to do something for a cause like that, and hopefully we don't have to do it a lot, but it's there. We can do this.
Yeah,
we've actually done it with Women's Collaboration Beer every year to celebrate women in brewing, and we've supported women's shelters across the state the last 2 years.
Okay, nice. So
that's called State Bird, the State Bird Project.
Yeah, first time I had it was down at Crooked Tooth. Yeah, Ben. I don't know if you guys met Ben Newman or Ben Vernon. Yeah, that dude was awesome. But yeah, it was the first time I had. He's like, you got to try this beer. I'm like, all right. Absolutely. I think Leah Huss was part of that, right?
She spearheaded the time before. Tara Arnold from Barrio was last year.
Okay.
We're still looking. I probably need to get on that pretty soon. If we're going to talk February, the thing I've learned is the day after you do something, the campaign to do it better, it begins the next day.
Right.
And I mean, you're in the office. You can see we've got a 6-month calendar here, and we're trying to map stuff out. And the things that happen behind the scenes to get stuff going on are just immense. And I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just I rely on people like Paul, and I rely on our board of directors, and I rely on some engaged breweries to really get this done.
Yeah. Well, like we were talking before, like the things that you have to think about, like you said, waking up every day, all the things you got to think about it's huge for this industry. I
Yeah.
mean, in Arizona beer, I think for me doing this podcast, I've realized like the potential and like what Arizona beer can actually bring. And, we're always compared to Oregon, San Diego, or California, Colorado.
Right.
I think we've
got some
explore.
elements, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here to tell you, we're not going to be any of those cities on a number of levels, but we're going to be who we are. And so I live here. I love the beauty of the state. We're going to be something different, and I think we're starting to see that. Now, I think we've done a great job of defining neighborhoods with these smaller breweries. Like, I think if you're connected to the brewing, what's going on, I mean, I think you think Mesa is different than it was ever with all these breweries going on, and I think, Gilbert's different than anyone thought of, and I think Scottsdale even.
Yeah.
There wasn't a brewery in Scottsdale when I started, and now there's a great run of breweries. And I live in Tempe, and I can probably on my bike go to 12 breweries very easily on a bicycle, which is something I couldn't say years ago. They're adding value to neighborhoods, they're defining neighborhoods, and they're connecting neighborhoods.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I loved about the shop too, is just the location, the actual building, like it's an old house, and I mean, I think it was a showroom or something like that at one point, for granite countertops.
Well,
or something,
Harry Mitchell, one of the former mayors of Tempe, lived there.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
So they're out there they're the vanguard of preserving some of these places too.
Yeah.
Which, so I did a 2-hour class at ASU. As a guest speaker, I talked about buildings and Arizona beer.
Wow.
So,
okay.
I mean, I think 10 years ago people thought of strip malls and breweries, but we're really, you look at a place like Rent House, it's occupied a bungalow.
Yeah.
These are places that transform you. They make you think you're not where you are, and I love that about our breweries. I think a lot of these new breweries, even those that are in some newer developments and so on and so forth, I think they're really transforming their neighborhoods.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Huss. Huss was a big one that was, I mean, they're right there, or the Huss, was it the tap room?
Uptown,
tap room? Yeah. And I was really impressed too with the Tucson brewery scene, like the old brick buildings, and those.
Sure.
I love that. Those breweries had like real character to them. I'm not saying that ones up here in Phoenix don't, but there's just something different about what they have down there.
Of course.
Yeah.
That town has a lot of enviable things. I mean, I think we're all used to the idea when you go to Flagstaff that you can sort of drop your bags somewhere or park your car and go to a number of breweries. I think we're used to that, but you could do that in Tucson in a couple places. And honestly, there are 14 or 15 areas you can go to in Phoenix and literally walk or bike to places. I think that's what consumers want.
Yeah.
I think breweries find it challenging and inviting to be able to take part of those associations. We've got a few breweries. We've got something called the Beer Muted Triangle.
Oh yeah.
Helton, Helio, Basin, and Rent House. It's great. I wish I could come up with. I think Chandler was talking about the Arizona Avenue corridor. I think you could make an argument for Rural Mill because it connects Tempe and Scottsdale.
Okay. Yeah.
This is us rebuilding, reimagining Metro Phoenix and Arizona. So it's exciting. I got into this because I love beer.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, why did you get into the industry?
Oh, probably something along the same lines, loving that beer. And I've been through all kinds of different stages of the beer industry, but yeah.
We both love beer, but like I will tell you, more and more you're going to get into something else. And for me, it's public policy and urban development.
Absolutely.
And understanding architecture and traffic patterns and human scale development.
And I have a bachelor's degree in geography, so I'm all about that.
That's perfect.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
what I tell people is you're familiar with the beer styles. They existed because of local ingredients and access to local things. We're in this world trade sort of era, and you can get any ingredient you want. You can get any, more or less. You can get hops that you want. You can actually even order heirloom grains. We can recreate things that happened in the 1800s if we have good documentation, or we could take some great stabs at it.
Yeah.
So we could do all that. So if you imagine beer as some sort of animal that just sort of adjusts and adapts to us, like the bird that picks the stuff out of the rhino's teeth or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it is a little bit of a parasite on us. It is an organism that we've grown up with for 10,000 years. So what I like to say is beer kind of drapes itself over the landscape. We've got this huge metro area, and it's draped itself over us, and it's challenged us to connect things.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're doing. I mean, we're not going to have breweries in some parts of the state. We're part of the West, that you have to drive great expanses. We're not as spread out as North Dakota or Montana or Wyoming
Right.
but we're also not. We don't have mountain mining towns like Colorado. Can you imagine if we had 24 towns between Flagstaff and Phoenix right off the highway that were as exciting as Prescott and Jerome?
Like right there,
Yeah,
right off. Yeah.
yeah.
Ah, man, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, and more so going to Tucson. I mean, there's a whole lot of driving between, even though the distance is shorter. I think you understand. I'm from the Midwest.
Right.
You take the drive from LA to San Diego. I mean, every exit is 25 cities either way.
Right.
Right off the highway. We just don't have that. So we are who we are.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of breweries have done a really good job of celebrating who we are as Arizonans.
Yeah. I agree. And the ingredients too, like big time on doing things local. There's local farms that they're
Right.
getting, fruit from, or whatever ingredients they are. Yeah. And it seems to be a lot of them are making a deliberate focus towards that, and there's that just
Right.
tight
Well, there's that
community.
excitement. I don't we are actually going to have a maltster here in Arizona. We're going to actually grow malt and have it locally malted.
Oh, that's up north, right? Up
That's
in the Verde
Sinagua.
Valley?
Yeah, Verde Valley.
Yeah.
We're very excited about that.
Yeah.
We're in some respects we're at the height of craft beer, and it's up to us locally to figure out how we can take advantage and not just ride the wave, but figure out how we can be relevant locally. And we're not doing so well in the national market, so we have to figure out ways to be who we are.
Yeah. What do you think sets it apart? Like, what do you think sets Arizona beer apart?
Well, I think it's because we started out small, and I think it's our embrace of the fact that we live in this culture and that we have to work with our neighbors. And so when you see a strong beer festival, it is a lot of out-of-state breweries, but we relied on them. We relied on their guidance to get where we are. And I think it's reflected in the fact that when we expanded Real Wild and Woody, we invited out-of-state breweries.
Mm-hmm.
Because, they want to be part of our culture. A lot of them employ people. Some of them have come from our breweries. Some of them will come back to our breweries. So, if we're going to be relevant, we have to. If you look at the growth in my lifetime, 80 some breweries to 5,000. It's a competitive labor market. So when people say, why you guys have a booth at GABF celebrating Arizona beer if none of it goes out of Arizona, or why are you networking with people nationally as a guild? It's because we want to attract people here who have an association with Arizona. Like maybe they had a cousin here, maybe they visited here, maybe they used to live here. We want to say it's a great place to live, and the beer's pretty damn good. and you should come back. That's
Right.
that's really everyone thinks it's shelf space, which it is. Of course, it's shelf space, but we have to attract the best people. Because like I said, there's 5,000 breweries, and they are going to need the same things that we need here. So, if you're listening and you want to come back to Arizona, we got a lot of great things going on. So that's my message for that is I think we have one of the best guilds in the country. I was the 13th full-time director to be hired, and I think we're making progress towards getting up in that top 10.
When did you start?
I started. It'll be 4 years in November.
Okay, gotcha.
So, and I just, like I said, I just was able to get to the organization to the point where we could hire someone like Paul to help me out. To really spread the message about what we've got going on, and I'm really happy that we're at that point. But it's a critical point. We've got these events going on. As an event coordinator, we're at that point where we could make a ton of money or we could lose a ton of money because people don't commit, and it's not unusual. Some of our best events we make that huge money ticket event wise towards as we get closer to the event. But if you're on the fence,
Yeah.
it all goes to a good place.
Yeah.
I know other events in other parts of the country they go through the same thing. There's some
Right.
that sell out, way ahead of time, but I could tell you in literally meeting with the people who do my job 4 or 5 times a year. We're at a critical point where we need to know who's supporting us, who gets the big picture, so that we can take the message to people who are going to be the future of craft beer.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I need to build support to say this is the right answer, and bring your friends along.
Yeah. Yeah. And the big event coming up this Saturday, right?
Real Wild and Woody.
Real Wild and Woody. Yes. It's an outdoor summer event in Phoenix, right?
It's an inception thing. It's an indoor event. We bring in trees.
Yeah.
Those trees get donated to the city of Phoenix.
Nice. Okay.
There is a problem in Phoenix where they had some money to put some trees up and sort of kind of combat the heat island, and there wasn't a lot of upkeep and maintenance. And unfortunately, some businesses cut them down because they thought they owned the trees. And so where there is a grate with a stub, we want to replace that. So our decoration trees are all donated to the city of Phoenix. And it's not the most effective way to donate to the city of Phoenix because we have delivery fees going both ways. But hopefully we can build some awareness.
Yeah.
When you see a tree that goes somewhere in Phoenix, great message. So we've got that going on, and I completely forgot what your question was. But
That's all right. We're just Real Wild and
Oh,
Woody.
yeah.
It's the event. It's a pretty big event. This what's the date? The 29th? This
29th,
Saturday?
yeah, Saturday the 29th. So like I said, I could just keep talking about it. But those trees get donated, and there's a reason behind almost everything. So, I know what I was saying. It was an inception thing. There's a reason for everything that's there.
Okay.
We're trying to celebrate the outdoors. It's
Yeah.
indoors because we honestly believe that we live in Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's not a fantasy land.
Yeah.
But if it was up to me and I had unlimited dollars, I would have a stout festival in the middle of summer, and we'd all stand out and just drink until we couldn't take it anymore. I'm not even kidding. Just on the ridiculous level, it would be the SOS fable. Save our stouts. We would just drink. Because people from other parts of the country would say, "Hey, you live in Phoenix, so you just drink like really light beers." I'm like, I drink hot coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
Like hot coffee.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm outdoors.
Like McDonald's, like lawsuit hot, probably, right?
Yeah. So just like everybody, we live the same life.
Yeah.
If you left it up to me, I'd have some ridiculous festivals. But this is a great festival. It's in line with who we are. We're celebrating a lot of different things. We're trying to get this to grow to be an event that will attract nationwide attendance.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get the Craft Brewers conference here.
Okay. What is that? Tell me a little bit, because you were telling me about that a little bit ago. Yeah.
So every year the Brewers Association has a Craft Brewers conference. It attracts at this point close to 15,000 brewers.
These are all brewers, brewery owners from all around the country.
So they put on a program, seminar program. On off years, it's the World Beer Cup. So it is the standard by which we all try to achieve in terms of educating our brewers and having these amazing events. We're doing all of that locally right now. Like if you didn't know what the Craft Brewers Conference is or GABF, this is sort of a mashup of it in downtown Phoenix. So we're not sort of publicly putting it out there for everyone to attend, but if you go to AZ BrewCon and you like what you see and you want to get in the industry, that's there that Friday. Saturday is again one of the best festivals in the Southwest. I put it up against a lot of different festivals, including FOBAB, Festival of Barrel-Aged Beers, Great Taste of the Midwest, Hunapa. I'd put it up against a lot of those. And the people who say, well, no, it's not because you don't have these beers, like, look, we got a lot of great beers. Mm-hmm. Let's not quibble about specific beers. In terms of the experience, in terms of the spectacle, in terms of having great beer, I don't know, if, Paul, you've been to some fests. I mean, where do you rank all these?
Have you ever been to a beer festival, Paul?
Maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
I've worked in different facets of the beer industry, and I've done sales, and I've worked plenty of beer festivals. And Real Wild and Woody is probably, like Rob said, definitely one of the best that we see in this state and in this region of the country. Well organized, indoors, very properly done, and all kinds of amazing beers. Every brewer brings out the best beer that they have on hand, and different styles when it comes to wild ales to barrel-aged beers, cask ales, and in that sense, that allows us to educate the consumers as well, because there's a lot of consumers out there that are still novice beer drinkers, and they need to learn the processes behind making these beers and what all comes out with that. So
Paul brings up a good point. Like we could literally just say, hey, here's our beers. That's it. We have the best beer. Buy the ticket. Whatever. We want to entertain people. We want you to bring your friends. We want to reach out to different people. We're not going to sort of break out unless we are appeal to a lot of people. And again, I want you to be safe. I want you to have a good time. And of course, I want you to sample the beers. Of course, I want you to learn more about breweries. This year, we're rolling out 3 half-hour seminars, educational seminars. I wish I had them at the top of mind, but that's a new thing this year.
This is during the festival?
During the festival. I've seen it at events like Savor, which is nationally known. Yep. That's my goal, by the way, is to get us to Savor. You wouldn't believe how much red tape I have to get to that point.
Okay.
I have to work with contract holders from the City of Phoenix Convention Center. I have to work with them to up their concession game, and they gave me a figure to buy the contract out to serve however much food I wanted. You don't even want to see it. It's the ticket would be 3 times the amount. But do I want to get there? Of course. I want to have a marquee food and beverage festival featuring Arizona beer.
Yeah.
Because I think we have the beers, and I think we have the chefs to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I might have to create another festival to do that, but this is it right now. This is We've taken over more space. We've got more food vendors. We've got more of an outdoors experience. You just got to see it.
Yeah.
to believe it.
It's crazy. It's an indoor event, and you bring in trees, and
Yeah.
and I was going to ask about the name, so that's where,
Well, we'd like to celebrate outdoor life in Phoenix, in Arizona, and we're in Phoenix, so we do that. And I'll just bring it back to the thing that you asked me about. It is Inception because I'll get there. It's an indoor festival with trees, so we celebrate the outdoors. We will have an indoor arcade set up by 8-Bit Aleworks.
Oh, no
So
way.
there's going to be some classic arcade games.
Nice.
We of course have, as years prior, we have the silent disco that Huss puts on.
Oh, man, those are the best.
We have local bands. We have, when I started, there was a tradition of just hiring a DJ. I'm like, well, let's go back to supporting local. Let's support some local bands. And one of my favorite bands is headlining is the Sugar Thieves.
Yeah.
We've got a couple other opening acts this year that I haven't heard yet, but I'm excited about. We've got kind of a jam band, and we got a reggae band. I want to celebrate Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so bummed that I'm not going to be there. Like, this just sounds amazing. I love food. I love video games. I love music. Like, I think, you know what? I think my family will be okay in Maine by themselves, right? Have them pick me up some beers.
No, I believe me. There's a part of me that wants to just join you in Maine, and I just hope everything works out. But
Paul can take care of it, right?
I can take care of most of it, but
Yeah.
2 years ago, when we brought it to the convention center from the Tempe Center for Rare Arts, I believe that was the year that Sierra Nevada had the beer camp across America, and
Nice.
when I, in my early days of running this stuff, I would have a rule like, as soon as the festival's over, I'm going to leave the state. I'm going to go on a vacation, and you can't contact me for a few days. Those days are over, unfortunately, because I got other commitments. We're planning GABF. We've got some stuff going on for GABF. We have Jamboree, the Northern Arizona Jamboree in September, weekend after Labor Day, September 9th. We've got a jam band and 25 breweries. So I got to work on that. I am going to take some time off, but I mean, like, literally, driving out of town and saying this. Anyway, the year that Beer Camp Across America traveled through, I was coming back from the Four Corners, and I'm coming back from Four Corners, and there's this long drive where I can see for miles and miles and miles. And it was about from the Four Corners towards Kayenta, and I could see the Sierra Nevada bus come with all, I'm like, Brenda, my wife,
Yeah.
go here and see if this is really them, because like they were just there, and then she's like, oh yeah, so I'm like, take a picture, and like by that time the bus was getting closer and closer. I'm like, take a picture, like, because I can't. And she's like, what? And she didn't know she's an Apple and I'm an Android.
Yeah.
We're fumbling around.
She's
We never got the picture.
I like how he says
We
that.
we never got the picture. But I'm like, thank God I didn't run their bus off the road, because that was pretty close. I'm like, hey, wait, take this phone.
Right.
Yeah, no, funny. And it was them, and they were
Yeah.
like, turn around, come join us, come, we're going to Durango. And I was like, just in Durango. I'm like, if I could put my wife on a plane, and
Right. You could find
I
somebody.
should have let her drive, and I should have just thumbed it to.
Yeah. Right. So that's interesting, that beer camp that they do, because I've had the beers a few times, but I don't really understand, like, so they're on a bus and they travel across the country and brew with breweries.
No, they I don't know if they celebrate who they brewed with, and they just celebrate America. I mean, that's a great concept, and then I would love to bring that to Arizona, that kind of idea. Which right now we're bringing everyone to one spot, but
Yeah.
I tell you, in my job, and Paul, you got a little bit of this because we've traveled. Isn't it cool? Just we do our brewery thing, we see other part, but we do things that most people don't get to do in Arizona, and it's explore the state.
absolutely.
Yeah. So we want to do more of that. I mean, there is probably, hopefully, going to be some tour across Arizona with the guild, and we'll see how that works out.
Yeah. That's interesting you say that, because we always think of, like, Flagstaff, Phoenix, Tucson.
Yeah.
But you've got places like Prescott, Cottonwood. You've
Cottonwood
got,
is going to be the cool.
Yeah,
Cottonwood might be, especially in fall and when it turns a little cooler. That might be the cool place to hang out. They've got breweries, they've got wineries, they've got spirits, and they've got a great downtown. And they're close to Jerome, and they're close to a lot of different things. And it's close to where that malting situation going on in Verde Valley. I mean, I think that might be the cool place to go.
Right. Well, and even Verde Valley, like Verde Valley Brewing. Like I stopped there on my way home from like Flagstaff, just like check it out. Their beer was fantastic. Like food was great. So spot Bisbee. There's a brewery in Bisbee right now, right?
There's two in Bisbee, and I'd love to be able to travel a state and get to them all. But like I said, when I started when I was 25, easy to make that commitment. Right. We have 105 locations right now.
105 now?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
87 independent breweries.
Okay.
And so, but I like to go to a brewery, but I also like to, go to the natural wonders of Arizona.
Oh, jeez.
Knocking stuff over.
Yeah. So, I mean, what you guys are doing is amazing. I mean, this festival this weekend is going to be awesome. You've got events, video games. What was the other thing that actually kind of blew me away? There was something else. Well, food, obviously. I love food. It's local food too, right? Like some of the local food places.
Yeah, we've got Pig and Pickle has been with us for a long time.
Oh, nice.
They just recently had a flood that put them out of commission for 8 days, and I've known Clayton and Keenan before they even started. And they said they're going to be fine, but they really worry about their staff. So it's great that they're going to still make the commitment for Real Wild and Woody. But if you've ever been there, man, you can do a lot of damage with $10.
Yeah.
Some great craft beer and some great gourmet, thoughtfully produced foods. So they're going to be there. Hop Dotty, which is a company. Mostly North Scottsdale. Great burgers. They're an out-of-state company, but everywhere they go, they use local beer. So we really are happy about them. They're going to be offering some samples up. We've got a lot of paired situations with some of the breweries. They're bringing their own small foods to pair things with.
Nice.
Now. We're working with Aventura, which is a giant corporation. We're trying to get them to commit to doing some specialty foods. Those will be for purchase, but that's what we're up against. We're up against doing something in a large location and really working it. Did I mention this is the first beer festival that's been in the convention center in 30 years?
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this is our third year there.
Right.
But we broke the seal on it. We had a lobby with some folks at the city of Phoenix, mayor's office, very supportive. But you have to imagine, and I feel for them because they've written some contracts for some larger things that didn't really include who we are, and so they've been willing to work with us. But we run into some problems. And we're working through those because we see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So this Saturday, you said the 28th, right?
29th.
29th. I looked at the 29th and I thought you said so it's right there on the back of his computer. I read. Like, was that last year? Yeah. So this coming Saturday, we're tickets. How do people find tickets?
RealWildandWoody.com.
Okay. Gotcha.
You cannot miss it. We've got some, if you search, there's some great videos and there's some great visuals. But bear in mind, we're doubling all that. We're doubling down on a lot of stuff. I can't reveal a lot of it, but it's gonna feel like you're at a convention. Just like a strong beer feels like you're in a beer city, and that's across 7 acres. This is gonna feel like we have. Think about in your life the giant conventions you have or hear about.
Yeah.
This is a convention of beer. This is us celebrating local beer in a very giant way.
Okay.
Indoors, outdoors, and indoors.
It's outdoors. Yeah. But
mostly indoors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Air conditioning wise, we're fine.
Nice. So then, and I think you guys are going to join me sometime soon again for the next upcoming event to get that out there. And
we're happy to support you in any way we can. Hopefully, we're not dominating the conversation like we are today, but
no, that's what I want.
No, we want to support our breweries.
Absolutely.
And so, anything we got something going on, we'll contact you and update you on whatever we got going on. We might run a small bill this year. Small.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Consumer friendly. Another consumer friendly bill. So we'll keep you updated.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much. This is awesome. You guys listening, get out there. July 29th, Real Wild and Woody.
And if you want to get in the industry, consider AZ BrewCon 28th.
Okay. Nice.
azbrewcon.com.
And then there's what's the other events?
That's more of an internal retailer thing.
Okay.
So if you sell beer and you don't know about it,
legally sell beer legally.
Yeah. You can contact us at Paul at choosezbrews.com.
That's right.
There it is.
/tasting.
Nice.
No, just your email, Paul at choosezbrews.com.
Yes.
He was trying to throw a little backslash.
No, you could, I hired you to take all those emails.
Yes.
I know backslashing.
Taking those.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, guys. You guys
Cheers.
listen. Get to the festival. It's going to be a good time. Take pictures. Send them to me because I'm going to be in Maine. Hopefully drinking some good beer. Bristol Brothers, Allagash.
Bring some back.
I will. Awesome. Thanks, guys.